Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, Salam Kebajikan. Hello everyone, welcome to my video. Dear Miss Indah Pangestu Amaritasari, SIE MA, as Law and Human Rights Lecturer, and hello my friends who I love and be proud of. Hopefully and good health. I, Kartika Dewi Nurlaili, want to present material 9 is human rights in context. For sakes of shortening the time, I just go ahead. I will share screen now. These human rights in context. Human rights in the context are divided to 5 parts. 1. Human rights in war situations. 2. Human rights in conditions of peace. 3. Human rights in the context of development. 4. Human rights in the context of technology. 5. Human rights in democracy, rule of law, good governance, and public participation. 1. Human rights in war situations. This is because sometimes in wars, human rights violations often occur against vulnerable groups such as children, persons with disabilities, women, and others, who should not be involved or have the impact of the war on because they think the intruders are from the opposing camp. Human rights in war situations include 1. Non-derogable rights, rights that should not be violated at all, even in conditions of war, or right to life. In war, only combatants can be killed. People involved in war, such as military troops. 2. For first generations human rights. Right to life and right not to be tortured. 3. Vulnerable groups. Children, women, persons with disabilities, and others. 4. Humanitarian law that regulates when a war occurs. 5. International refugee law governing the rights of refugees in war. And last, war crimes and military aggressions. Parties or countries that carry out military aggressions and violate law and rights can be referred to as war crime perpetrators. Next, human rights in peace. Human rights. How do human rights contribute to peace itself? 1. Human rights conflict in recent time. Currently, many human rights violations are related to ethnic, religious, and certain group motifs. The aggressive conflict theory of society explains that usually the majority ethnic or religion tends to be more aggressive, feeling superior towards the military groups. The state should not allow any violations of human rights by certain groups. 2. Comprehensive peace concept. Or overall, human rights are often seen as contradictory to the enforcement of security or an obstacle when human rights and security should go hand in hand or complementary. Because a country can be said to be peaceful in terms of the extent to which human rights are fulfilled. When human rights are violated or not fulfilled, it will have an impact on internal security. Next, peaceful operation. Peaceful operations or peacekeeping troops, representative of its country, decided by the UN Security Council to guard in conflict area. Next, Chapter 7 UN Charter in Bahasa PBB Bab 7. Next, human rights in the context of development rights. Human rights are often considered to interfere with the implementation of development. For example, what is done by the community is related to development. Questions carried out by the governments, whereas comprehensive development is development that by intention to the elements of human rights. Human rights in the context of development include 1. Rights to develop versus cooperations based on human rights. Rights to development means that every group or individual has the rights to develop. This right is supported by third world countries because they need help from the other countries to build their country so that it does not become an underdeveloped country. In helping development, cooperation usually occurs that is not based on rights. For example, country want to build an oil mine in country B, but in the development process, it does not pay attention to the rights of the people in the development area. Next, development to fulfill human rights. Something to be expected when the rights to development and rights-based development cooperations go hand in hand. 3. Human rights principle interrelate. Development is also related to civil rights or ECOSOC. Next, democracy, public participations, good governance. Elements to realize the upholding of human rights in the development process. 5. Human rights mainstreaming or Vienna Convention, appointed in the Vienna Declarations and Program and Actions, which specifically discusses rights in the development sector. Next, human rights in the context of technology. Technological advance can contribute positive or negative to human rights. The contribution is divided into two, namely positive contribution and negative contribution. Positive contributions: citizen journalism, community contribution to human rights enforcement. Reporting and evidence of human rights violation is easier to do when there is technology that supports it. Online learning is related to the fulfillment of ECOSOC rights, especially education. Negative contribution. There are various kinds of applications that have the potential to lead to violation of human rights, especially privacy rights. Examples: Pegasus applications and applications that can be used to monitor academic activities and all groups. In addition, many activists were reported missing and later found dead. the rise of the user, a group of people who move in an organized manner to voice something on social media. Next was human rights in democracy, rule of law, good governance, and public participation. Democracy. Democracy meaning participations, people rights, tolerance, and pluralism. Democracy is a government based on the sovereignty of the people. It can also be called a majority vote. To prevent the majority vote violating the rights of vulnerable groups. It is necessary to participate from all parties who prioritize tolerance and pluralism. Pluralism is in understanding that respect the difference in a society and allow these different groups to maintain the uniqueness of their respective cultures. B. Rule of law. The law referred to in human rights is a law that respects human rights, or law which regulate the value of upholding human rights. Law that do not respect democracy and human rights are called rule of law, where the rules are not processed by law. Rule of law, the height is the law, while the rule of law, the height is the rules. Next, good governance. Many rights are not fulfilled, especially the social and social rights of the community due to rampant act of corruptions commit by a country. At a minimum, the practice of collusion and nepotism is in a country can be realized through good governance by governments. Collusions is cooperation or agreement made in secret to deceive other and achieve mutual benefit for the parties involved. Nepotism, preferring relative or close friends based on relationship rather than based on ability. Last, public participation. The public is allowed to participate in conveying their opinion or civil right to the governments. For example, suggesting the government to build school and remote area or fulfill public health right. So the presentation of material 9 has been complete. Thank you everyone for watching my video. I hope you understand when I'm saying. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Goodbye and see you.